But I'm proud of myself for being consistent and all of that good stuff because it takes work to be consistent. It does. It takes work to be consistent. Is the mic on? YouTube is coming up. All right, YouTube is live. Okay, perfect. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Sorry about the slight delay. It's gonna be good, and I appreciate y'all's patience. But we are coming upon, gosh, y'all, what is this? What's the date? The 25th. So 1 month from today, we will be in Christmas. Can y'all believe that? Like 2025 was a year I will probably never forget. What a year it has been. If you've had a great year, right? If you have had a great year, I'm very proud of you. Um, because everybody did not have that same experience, but I learned so much this year. I really did. Um, I think this year has taught me so much. Like even with my family, it started off very rough, right? I had my grandfather passed. I mean, I still like sit here and think about like, wow, like it started off so off. And my granddad is my mother's father, the one I'm talking about. And he, had a very big influence in my childhood. We lived with them for the first, like, what is that, like 7 years, 7 years on and off, me and my mom. Um, and then when my mom and my dad like reconciled, got back together, married and everything, he was still in my life, like picking me up from school, and we used to go over there. We used to spend the night. We used to have cousin nights, all the cousins gather. And so I think his passing, his transition shocked us because he wasn't sick. And it was just like, wow. Like, oh, your granddad went to the hospital and then it's like he's gone. We were like, what? Like, I mean, I was in shock. So anyway, it started off very rocky, right? And then went through, what is it? Apartment was just acting real crazy. Like I didn't have internet for 5 months. And I was like paying all this money for this rent. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, you guys are ticking me off. Like, what is happening? Like, I've moved here to have this wonderful experience and I don't even have the basic things. So anyway, that was going crazy. And then um let me see what else. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else happened. Oh, went through a little breakup. Yep, breakup. You see how my voice changed with that? Like, yeah, yeah. Look, yeah, that happened. And then my parents were both like going through surgeries and stuff. And then I ended up ending my lease. And because of the big fallout with the lease, the property management, and I was able to buy myself out, got a moving company, and I decided to just help with my parents because they're both like I told y'all the feeling I felt when I first saw my father on a cane. It was like no. So I am helping with them, and also with that, and then my daughter was actually like cool with it. She was like, yeah, because like these people are crazy. Talk about the property management people. And so that happened, and then my daughter is graduating from high school, so that's happening, right? And then I'm preparing to move out of the country. So this is actually really good for me because I get a chance to just focus on like my daughter's last year and getting her straight, getting her straight. And then again, y'all know I'm the oldest, so it's 10 years between me and my siblings, and my 10 and 12 years. Um, and so I'm it, right? So this year has taught me a lot about, and it wasn't even like business stuff. It was more like personal, familial stuff, right? And it just opened my eyes up that like life is really short. Like life is really short. And Money is the tool that we use in order to take care of ourselves. It's the tool that we use to make sure that we have a better quality of life, right? But we also have seen over time, like societal intelligence, like societal things that have been happening in our world where we're seeing in real time transitions from labor, human labor, relationship trauma and drama, right? And then moving into artificial intelligence. We're in artificial generative intelligence, and they're trying to push into what is called artificial super intelligence, ASI, right? So you see pictures, you see videos, you see people having mixed feelings about AI. You see people having a fit about it. You see people having environmental concerns. And then you see a lot of people divorcing. You see a lot of people feeling some way about relationships. You see people trying to learn themselves. And I told y'all this year was going to be the year of the great awakening because why? We're going into the year of one. So this is the year of nine. Nine represents a complete cycle, right? And then this is also a big ushering in of what they call the divine feminine, which is associated with, in so many ways, the Aquarian age um, is the carpet, red carpet for that, right? Even though Aquarius is an air sign, the symbol of it is a man pouring out a pitcher of water. If you want to know more about that, I talk about the age of Aquarius on my YouTube channel. You're more than welcome to take a gander at that to get the foundational knowledge of that if you're interested. But I do know that there is a lot of astrologers that talk about that. And what does this have to do with emotions? It has a lot to do with emotions. It has a lot to do with frequencies because it's kind of intertwined. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the foundation of this is to help you understand like transparency and the veil is thin. All these things that people are saying is absolutely true. Hey, Sean. I know there are quite a few people on Substack. Hey, Casey. Hey, Christine. Hey, Maya. Who is this? Selfhon. Who else is here? Um, and so we're moving into a new era where we've never been here before. And so what we are hearing and what we are seeing is a shifting of the guards. So we're seeing what? The globe change again. So the world is shifting again. AI, you don't know if it's real or fake. You don't know if something is AI or if it's not. This is my whole point. If you are second guessing yourself, if you are scared, if you are like nervous, if you are in this in between space, what is that? Right? If you're having these feelings, why do you think that is? Because you're still in a place where you think everything is going to come easy to you and for you. I didn't say that it shouldn't be easy, but you still think that things are supposed to be easy for you. Hey, Tanika, you still think that things are supposed to be easy for you. And because I talk primarily to women, I know that men listen to me too, but this message is primarily for women. What we are seeing is women who really want it, who really say they want it, but you're still trying to find the ease in getting things rather than building up the character, building up the internal infrastructure, putting yourself in a necessary position where you are benefiting on a long term. because you're too short term focused. I'm gonna say that again. You're too short term focused, and this is because we have been kind of spoiled. You're welcome, Tanika. She said these morning shows have really helped me to refocus. That's what she's saying on YouTube. You are so welcome. We've been spoiled. We've been told that everything is easy, and all you have to do is change your vibration, and all you have to do is lift up your vibration, and it'll just come. No, it's literally work. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is coming from a woman who's single, obviously, right? Like, I don't like I have a child, so I don't have the luxury, right, of doing what it is I want to do whenever I want to do it. It's I have to do it, right? And so my message is going to be a little hard. My message is going to be a little rough around the edges. Why is that? Because it's because the perception that I have is number one, studying millionaires and studying people's work ethic, studying how people behave, looking at their past. I don't look at just their now. I don't look at just their outcome. I look at their entire journey. I look at people who did not have really a long journey before they just catapulted. I look at people that got it out the mud. And I know that we don't like those type of stories because they're like, "Oh, I'm just so tired of the whole what is it called? Rags to riches story. I'm tired of that." No, that's usually how it gets done. A lot of people that are in new money right now, they became who they are based on a journey of managing their emotions and adjusting to changes and staying focused on the outcome. And the outcome is not just having the result, the outcome is being the result because reality is the result. Christina said, I'm reading Alex Hormozzi's books, and it is humbling. Yeah. Substack, y'all say something to me. This is really where it comes down to understanding the journey. And you have so many examples. That's what I tell people, like, you have all this evidence. But the psychology is that we have this mentality where we want people to like us. We want people to um love us. We want people to feel and see that we are good people. Everybody ain't gonna say that way. I had a client slash friend, recently have an issue, and I told her, I said, "Good work." The thing is that let me go back a little bit. The heart, having a good heart, should be your baseline, right? You should have a good heart, period, right? But your entire life in your business, the life cycle of your business, should not be consumed with you trying to prove that you have a good heart. Did y'all hear how I said that? Did that the point is that you do good work. Good work is a symbolic attachment to someone with a good heart. So the issue, no, not the issue. The mission is to find more people to do good work for so they can see what a good heart looks like. That's how you help change the world. You don't change the world by trying to prove to people that you got a good heart. Nobody cares about that. Amen, somebody. The good heart is shown through the good work that you're doing. You don't complain about the world and how you have such a good heart, but you don't want to do the good work that it takes to show people that you have a good heart. This is why a lot of people have trouble with conversion because you are so into trying to show people that you're a good person and that a good person doesn't ask for money and a good person doesn't make offers and a good person they should just want to be in my world and ask me. That's not how this works. You build relationships with people because you want to make sure that it's a fit. Because everybody don't appreciate the good work. Because the good work should always be in the forefront. You understand? So when we talk about lifting up the frequency of this planet, that is a part of it. You have polar polarities when it deals with capitalism. You have people that do money laundering and do all kinds of things to, express greed and all these other things. And when the trust economy comes into play and the trust goes, downward, goes low, people don't trust anymore. You know why that is? Because not enough people that have good hearts are doing the good work at scale. Okay. I'll be having a pause so y'all can hear what I'm saying and digest what I'm saying. I don't speak fast for a reason because that's your problem is that you want everything fast. Like, oh, I just no. You need to learn how to slow your tail down and retain information. Your brain is already fried because it's taking in so much information all day. You don't even give your brain a chance to catch up and look and create neural pathways that's going to create the identity and create the internal infrastructure it's going to take for you to move because I know you love quantum mechanics and quantum physics and quantum manifestation and all these other pieces and principles, but you are going to have to learn how to slow that brain down too. That brain is on overload. How can you change the world when you can't slow down and think and retain? We talked about that yesterday. We talked about that yesterday. Go back and look at the YouTube video from yesterday because that's up. I got to get Substack up, but the video from yesterday is up. And I talked about how it's not only do you need to get it, but you need to sustain it. Okay. Because you are money. And a lot of you don't have the confidence and the audacity to do the good work because you're focused on getting and getting and getting and knowledge gathering. So when it comes down to emotions, right? Energy, emotion. What is a frequency? Let's go here first. Let's start with emotion. Then I'm gonna go to frequency because emotion is something we're familiar with. So emotion is a full body response created by your interpretation of an event. Did you hear what I said? We already going heavy. We already going heavy. And before I even go further, if you are interested in joining the Soul Stacker Writing Intensive, you need to let me know. Send me a DM. Send me a message on Facebook or Substack and let me know. We had someone to join last night. I'm very excited about that, but that's the writing intensive and I want to make a very, very big apology. I've been saying 12/2 for I don't know, like a week or so. It's 12/1, which is Monday. So shout out to Sylvan for that question because we meet on Mondays. Okay, so it's 12/1, not 12/2. Okay, so got my dates kind of mixed up, but it is 12/1. That's on a Monday. So the Monday after we finish eating, okay? 6 weeks. And if you are a paid subscriber, let me know if which payment plan you want. I'll send you the codes. But for because we're in the regular sales cycle now. So yeah. So pay community. If you're a paid subscriber, you need to send me a message and let me know. And that's on Substack as well as opening up for YouTube as well. You need to send me a message because there is a code that you need to get. Okay. All right. But everybody else, it's the regular price. All right. So let's go back to emotion. It's a full body response created by your interpretation. It's a physiological response for external stimuli. So your body's response is according to the interpretation of an external event. Everybody with me? It's created by your nervous system and your hormones. It's not just necessarily a feeling, it's a coordinated response involving these pieces: your brain, your body, your memory, hard drive, right? And your identity. Ooh, I'm already shaking my head. Mm, mm, It's a coordinated response. So the way you react to something is according to your identity, how you see yourself, right? Who you say you are, who you think you are. Because it's really not about what you say. Because you could say all that you're this and you're that, but it don't matter because your identity is the truth. I told you we hidden it. We hidden it. This is it. Your identity is your self concept, your conception of self, who you think you are in the truth, and it's according to your memory. So, Substack, y'all with me? I don't see. I don't know if y'all up because y'all been sleep. Your memory patterns, events that happened in the past, and how you responded to them, and the trauma associated with those past events, because it goes by similar experiences and your reaction to them and your experience with that. So the more life experience that you have, that's why I told people this is why younger people have all this fire. Like they can get up and do. Just think about it. Just when you were in your 20s, you took more risk. You did. You took more risk. You quit jobs. You didn't care. You broke up with this person. You broke up with that person based on how you felt because you were like, this ain't. I don't like this. And then when you get in your 30s, your late 30s, and get into your 40s, and then your 50s, you know that midlife going in between that 35 to 50, you start getting a little bit more selective about the type of decisions that you make and how you respond because you're going by way of life experiences and how the patterns of your life experiences were similar. And so your body responds to those experiences. So and let's go to thought, right? Let's go to thought. What is a thought? A thought is a mental representation. You can even go as far as to say that your thoughts and ideas almost have they're living entities. It represents something. It's your brain creating meaning, creating images, creating predictions and judgments, or ideas. I hope you writing this down. It's your brain creating the meaning, the images, the predictions, the judgments or ideas. It's the mental representation because your brain has to make sense of what you are thinking. So your mind is the invisible part of your brain. So you program your mind, which is the invisible part of you, which is what they also say that that's a part of your personal what is it, your personality, and it's also your soul. Your brain is what is seen as the manifested version of your mind. Your thoughts pull. Here we go. So I can't, coach, I'm really trying to change my way of thinking. I'm still working on my thinking. I'm still like, your thinking pulls from your memory, your interpretation, and your imagination. So, in order to create new thoughts, you got to give it new thoughts. It don't know no other way but what you have thought in the past. So, when y'all say things like, I'm working on my thoughts, how? Because all you got is the past. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Thoughts. It's 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 the story that you tell yourself. And if your emotions are your response to external stimuli and it goes and measures up against the story you tell yourself, or it supports the story that you tell yourself, you're going to react based on that. So let's go to frequency. In frequency, so what is a frequency in science, right? A frequency is the number of times something repeats in 1 second, and it's measured in hertz. Okay. So in quantum physics, frequency refers to how fast a particle or wave is oscillating. Higher frequency equals higher energy. And this is kind of tied, I think, to, like, I can't pronounce his name, Planck's equation. Energy equals constant multiplied by frequency. So a frequency is not necessarily an emotion. It is not a vibe. It's a measurable sense of your repetition. So the way that you think, so frequency is about a series of thoughts over time. So the more you think about it, your energy is who you are. We just did the formula. Energy is the energy, it's the state that you carry. When people say, I just love her energy, it's what you carry. Because the frequency is the thoughts that you consistently think over time, repetitive. How fast do you think? Because if you're thinking lack all day, and you're always thinking about your problems and you're always thinking about what you don't have and you're always thinking about I ain't gonna be able to do this, and sales makes me feel like this, and I don't want to get on people's nerves, and I don't want to bother people, and I don't want to get blocked, and I don't want to be exposed, and I don't want people talking about me, I don't want to lose people, and then I don't want to, what if I lose my job, and then I won't have a backup plan. You're always looking at the lower versions of yourself instead of saying, okay, so if I keep thinking these thoughts, which are not serving me, it's not moving me in the right state. I'm keeping this low energy, that's shift energy to inner God, right? Spirit within. Because your self concept is God. How you think of yourself is what the God thinks of you. Why do you think, here we go. Why do you think people are so comfortable getting on these podcasts and telling you the doom and gloom that AI is gonna bring over here. You remember we've been talking about that. Over here, they're very comfortable with telling you about AI and how it's gonna exterminate everybody and how it's going to take everybody's jobs and everybody will be jobless and we're gonna make the world this and we're gonna make the world that. But then on the other side of the globe, there's a completely different conversation going on, which is where social societal intelligence comes in, which, China's telling their people it's a tool of social progress and prosperity for everyone, and it's free. But over here, we're paying $200 a month or $20 a month. So you're pricing out people already, right? You're pricing out folks. You're telling people that AI is going to take everything and we're going to lay everybody off, and then you're just going to find something to do with your time. You're going to have to use your creative gifts and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So now you got people spazzing out. Now, here we go. Let me call you to the carpet. How do you allow someone outside of yourself push you into believing something that is contrary to what you actually say you want for yourself? You know why it's so easy to do that? Because you have been conditioned and programmed for loss because that's all you've lived. And how are other people doing this? How are other people using AI and actually making money? I released the quantum template yesterday, the AI quantum template, and we already had sales. People like it's almost like they were hovering over my stand store, and people just like as soon as I launched it, we had like 3 sales like within like 30 minutes. It was funny, but it's $44, right? It's a part of our Black Friday special. It's because people are ready to learn. They're ready to create. They're ready to grow, right? But it's going to come with you. You got to stop people. You got to stop allowing external people from making you feel something that's in alignment to something you don't want. It's if your identity, if you're going this way, you're saying you're a multimillionaire, that shouldn't stop you. Nothing what they say should stop you. Because you have to think for a moment. Sometimes you got to step back and think, like, wait a minute, why are they so comfortable telling us this? And this is why I told y'all some people, many people really, are just as bad as the patriarchy. Because the patriarchy, I told y'all, the patriarchy neglects to answer the question why. They never get to the root cause, right? They never get to the root cause. The root cause is never ever discussed. Women, however, are root cause was we're supposed to be anyway. We're always looking for the root cause. Like people get frustrated when they hear the patriarchy say things like, "Oh, well, there's a male loneliness epidemic and women do well." Like what's his name, Scott Galloway? This is the first person that came to mind. He's going around the country talking about how men are so lonely and they're doing drugs, and that's because they're not having sex and they're not like dating, they're not getting married. But women, however, are fine. They got their cats, they're much happier when the husband passes away and they can, women can be by themselves and they're much happier and at peace. But men, they suffer when they're alone. Now, the root cause is determined for the woman, but it's not for the man, right? The root cause is that if this man doesn't have anybody, he's gonna do drugs. Or if he's not having sex, oh my gosh, he's gonna result to violence. He's gonna lose his mind. He's gonna go psychotic. He's gonna get a pew pew and just go for everybody. That is not the cause. It's the result. If he doesn't get married, if he doesn't have find a woman, and a woman has to sacrifice her peace in order to help this man because this man, if he's not with anybody, he's going to lose it. But there's no why. Why can't he just work on himself before he disturbs another woman's peace? Because your peace is not considered in the equation of the patriarchy. Did you understand that? So your intelligence is not impressive to the patriarchy. Your ambition is. Did you hear what I just said? Your intellect is not a flex to the patriarchy. Your degrees and your education and how many years you work for corporate, it doesn't matter to the patriarchy. They will continue to move the goalpost until they price you out, until they make you tired. So let's go back. Let's make everything expensive. Let's tighten up. Let's bring inflation in. It's all imaginary. It's real, and I'm not even being conspiracy theory grounded. It's literally made up. Like the whole inflation process was a consequence of the Great Resignation. I showed y'all videos of CEOs saying like we have to get the workforce back in line. I mean, they've gotten home and they're working from home and, and they think that they can just lay around when they need to be back in the office. That's because they need to watch you. It doesn't matter that you're getting work done. Even though you may get tons of work done at home and you're more productive at home, they would rather put you in the office because they want you to have problems. Problems keep the patriarchy in sight. That's just what this is. So, how do women protect their peace? Because how are we gonna do this? We're gonna give them a run for their money, just like they're giving us a run for our money. We're gonna be great at what we do, and we're gonna do it with ease. You have Gen Z that says things like, "Oh, well, these are quote unquote studies. These are quote unquote studies," and you got, like I told y'all, you got to look at the source of these studies. Now they're saying, "Oh, Gen Z loves to go in stores now. They love to get out of the house." No, they really don't. They do, but they don't. They don't have any social skills. They don't have any communication skills. They don't know how to interact with other people. They're very socially awkward. They love shopping online. TikTok shop is blowing up right now. Social buying, shopping is blowing up right now. They want you to get out of the house because these stores are being neglected. So they will create this story and this narrative for you to get back out and go to the get in the store. No, it's not a spreadsheet, Tanika. It's on that Stan Store link that I sent you. Let me know if I can send it to you. So when we're talking about external feelings, right? These external feelings, no, I'm sorry, these external conditions affecting your feelings. You got to start, first of all, you got to learn how to question that and say, why am I feeling this way? When, and this is where the questions start coming up. Like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. Like, we were just fine. And then all of a sudden, this is happening. AI is a disruptor. It's a disruptor. So it's cost reduction, right? To lower the labor of humans, the cost of labor, right? Because humans are expensive. Let them tell it, right? But this is what happens when you what is it called? When you have priced out. Because every time you raise the goalposts or level up the goalposts, guess what happens? We met it. Everybody came and rose up to the occasion. And now you're mad because you got to keep pricing out, pricing out, pricing out. But you got to remember, this is where it gets very icky, right? Because the ultra wealth has to do things, very dark things. And that's known, right? That's very it's revealed to the public. It's disclosed to the public that the ultra rich indulges in very dark behavior. You know what I'm saying? And if money is infinite, which is now digital, it creates this illusion that if you become ultra wealthy, you're going to have to do dark, nasty, vile things. So you have a lot of people that don't want to do that. So they'll stay at the bottom where you're scrapping and overthinking and all these other things in order to just survive from a day-to-day perspective. That's not the way of abundance, because abundance is supposed to be free. It's supposed to be freeing, is what I'm trying to say. Abundance is supposed to be peaceful. But if you're showing that abundance requires people to do dark things and to manipulate and deceive people, right? And to take innocence away from people, then you're grabbing away the gift of abundance and you're putting abundance behind prerequisites that they have to be tried for this. Because now bribery comes into the picture. I have to bribe you to get abundant. No, no. And so you have people that will rather, like, I'll just stay in the multi-million dollar range or multi six figure range because it's just less problematic for me. But we also know that as cost goes up, your energy has to go up as well. And if things are going faster than what your identity can keep up with, we have a frequency problem and we have an emotional problem. So, which means that your programming has to change as fast as the progression of these ideologies. So, Jay, are you saying that we should be vile and we should be dark? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that even if you want your version of abundance, whatever that is, you have to start changing your identity. You have to start getting into a mindset of consistent frequencies that match the identity that you desire, which means that your level of thoughts, right? The range of your thoughts, the speed of your thoughts, which is frequency. We just said that. It has to be rewired. You need to restructure your thoughts. You have to redefine them. You have to create new thoughts. I remember Reverend Ike used to say this. He said, give your brain new thoughts to think. Because your brain is only going to go by the frequency. I'm sorry, it's going to go by the old identification model. If we can even go here, the old operating system, which is still your current operating system, it has not been rewired yet. And the more excuses, the more trauma that you have, the more stories of loss and grief that you have, and you accumulate this, you will feel as if that you have so much healing to do when it's literally just re-identifying with time. Which means what? Not saying forget, but you have to allow yourself to put those things behind you and embrace the now so that you can speed forward into the future, which is now. The only proof that you have that I am alive and that I am who I am is through live stream or live audio, right? People that are on YouTube can see my face, see me speaking in this mic. People on Substack, you can hear me. This is the only proof you have that I am who I say I am. If I show you pictures from the past, I'm showing you pictures from the past. That's not considered psychosis. That's not considered off. You wouldn't think I'm off putting up pictures from 2 days ago or a photo shoot. You would think like, "Wow, she went there or she was there." But I'm here in the present and I'm talking to you, and this is the only proof that you have in the present moment that I exist, that I am here, and that because I'm talking to you through the gift of air, right? Okay. But when it comes down to artificial intelligence, we're able to do research. We're able to create a future. We're able to design a future. We're able to use what they meant for darkness for the good of for us to get a hold of our psychological frameworks so that we can restructure in our internal infrastructure, restructure how we think, restructure our faith level, increase and upgrade our operating system so that we are creating new thoughts at a faster frequency. Okay. What they used to say in the church, what the devil meant for evil, God meant it for good. What the enemy meant for meant for evil, God meant it for my you know how y'all know. Y'all know. Because those are old operating systems. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. How emotions influence identity and manifestation. Here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go. So leadership, psychology, quantum language, how they all come together. So quantum mechanics, let's go back to yesterday. Quantum mechanics teaches what? The systems exist. Whatever you desire exists in probabilities. Okay? Probabilities. Possibilities, probabilities, okay? It's systems exist in probabilities. Observation slash attention collapses possibilities into a single outcome based on what you focus on, right? So observation is what you focus on, what you give attention to, what you see. Okay, what was the thing that I gave y'all yesterday? Remember how we talked about this? Y'all, somebody say something to me today. This is good. This is good. Don't leave me hanging out here because when the energy get up, this is it. When you say, I really want to go to what I say, Paris, France. That was the example I kind of gave. If I say that I want to go to Paris and I see myself in Paris image wise, right? In my mind. In my mind, I see myself, right? But then I'm also looking at the opportunity that how am I going to get there? So probabilities and possibilities when I get like I see myself there, but how am I getting there? Am I getting there by a friend that may win the lottery or get extra money and say, "Girl, let's go to Paris?" Or is it, I'm being funny when I say this, but a sugar daddy that says, "Hey, boo, let's go to Paris." Or does my business take me to Paris? Right? Or is it, a business trip or some retreat or something like that that takes me, that all expense paid, you go to Paris. It'll be so many possibilities, so many possibilities. Or you can just get on a plane with some extra money and just get on the plane and go to Paris today. Your parents, something happens where, your parents bless you with a trip. Say, "Hey, we thought about you. We got some extra money. We want to send you to Paris because you've always wanted to go to Paris." All these possibilities, right? But the one possibility that collapses in the highest potential that makes sense in your mind is what? if you have a business, that's probably the best outcome in your mind. So what happens? You start focusing on the business more because you say, I want to go to Paris. Now, that's one way. Now, I know we've had the instance where like, people have told us, like, don't worry about how you're going to get there. And how it's none of our business. But there are some people that say this is how we're going to get there. And it's going to be with ease, right? There are some people that say this is exactly how I'm going to become a legend. This is exactly how I'm going to get to Paris. I'm going to get to Paris just like this. This is my strategy to get there. And there is no other possibility in so many ways because this is how they know. Their identity is tied to that. This is the strategy on how to get to where I want to go, right? The destiny, the outcome that I desire. Think about what I'm saying. So when we get into these mental states of how am I going to do this? You can either leave it open to possibilities, but there's a pro and a con to doing that. You know that, right? There's a pro and a con to opening things like that up. You see yourself as a what's it called, alchemist and all of these things, which is fine. But when it comes down to your nervous system, because when times like this, when you want to manifest things and you want to leave it open, you got to get ready for contrast. You got to get ready for things to come into your what is it called, to get into your way and distract you, especially if your psychology is messing with you, especially when things start to get into your mind and tell you that no, you can't do it like this, and your parents don't have any money, and you don't have any money, and you don't have this, and you don't have your business not even working, and da 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 da, and your friends don't really have it, and da da da. Da. So how are you going to get to Paris? How are you going to make that happen? How are you going to quantum leap there, right? So all these things you're thinking about, and you're saying, well, I might as well just give up because I'm not probably going to go to Paris. Because you start thinking about all of these avenues and you get overwhelmed with the possibilities, but the possibilities you're talking down. So you just say, forget it. So Tanika said, reality selection happens twice, once in imagination and again in reality. Absolutely. Because you're saying, man, how many times have we done that? And this they said relatable. How many times have we done that? How many times have we said, oh, I would love to go to the south of France. I would love to. I would love to go to Germany. I would love to spend 3 months in Costa Rica. I would love to move to Miami, Florida, and have the perfect weather and just go to Bahamas and da 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 da, get away from everything and just how many times have we said that? Okay, so these are desires. Watch this. Watch this. There's a difference in frequency when you say, "Oh, I would love to go to Bahamas," to "I'm going to Bahamas. I'm in the Bahamas." There's a level of certainty in the second one. I'm in the Bahamas, like I'm already there. And I'm engaging my senses with that. I can smell the water even though I'm not there. I can feel my feet in the sand even though I'm not there. So you spend the time in the ether creating this reality because you see it. And not only do you see it, you deserve it. You look at that and say, I'm worthy of going to Bahamas if I want to. Why can't I go? Then you start thinking about Not about these are the reasons I can't go, but then you're like, why can't I? Like, why can't I just go? Like, what's holding me back? So then you start going the opposite way when it comes down to probabilities. You be like, this person goes all the time, or they got flights going all the time to the Bahamas and to the south of France and to Paris or whatever, whatever. They always have flights going out. Why can't I? Okay, then you get on the thing, you get on the Travelocity or Expedia or go through whatever travel website you go to. You start looking at the prices, and the price is really going to tell you where you at in your identity. You look at the price and you be like, oh my gosh, it's $2,000 to get to Paris. And then I have to pay an extra. Oh my gosh, like these prices are astronomical. And you'd be like, well, maybe I'll manifest it. No. Certainty is the vibe. Ooh. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go. Certainty is the vibe. Certainty in the thing or certainty, period, is faith. It's the evidence. Oh, these prices ain't. I've done this in an hour. That's when you start shifting, right? You be like, nah, it's just money. Uh, and so then your mind starts calculating how you gonna get it. But you have to have your certainty has to override that because your certainty is I don't care what the price is. I'm going. I don't care what shuts down. I'm going. You remember how I told y'all that when they shut the airports down and all that kind of stuff, they were like, oh, they're trying to keep us in. No, they ain't. No, they're not. Mm-mm, they're not going to keep me. No, nobody can keep me anywhere. See, this is when you start taking yourself out of groupthink and putting yourself back into your body and saying, "What are you talking about?" Like, no, I have plans to go to such and such in April. Like, there's no way. I told people, don't worry about it. Get on the plane and go. Oh, but you know, the air traffic control people, they're not. That's not the truth for you. That's not the truth for you. Like, you're going to get on the plane. You're going to be fine. You're going to have a safe trip. You're going to enjoy yourself. And you're going to come back at the appointed time, and everything will be found the way you left it. What are you talking about? The programming is to jack with you. A lot of this stuff is manufactured to create a fear and keeping people at the house. Somebody had inboxed me. It had a couple of people inbox me actually. And it was like, Coach, you don't know how your post made me feel at ease because I was so nervous. This one of the young ladies that I know, she went to Turkey. Another somebody I know had to fly to another part of the country for business or whatnot. And I had another person that had to travel overseas to the UK. And I told him, I said, just go. Go. And then be at peace about that. They're trying to scare you to keep you isolated and in a place where you don't get up and do anything because they saw the numbers of how many people were leaving the state. So it had to create a diversion because a lot of people are leaving in droves, putting their houses up for sale. And then people are saying, oh, y'all better hurry up and come out because they're going to start closing up. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. If I'm supposed to go in 2028, I'm going to go. You can't stop what I'm doing. You can't stop me from going anywhere. There's order that I have set aside for me to get up and do what I need to do. And I'm going to do things decent in order. I play around a lot. And I used to say, Maddie, said that she would leave with me or whatever, whatever. But I used to tell people like, my baby graduates in May. She's going to finish. I already knew 2026 was the year. Back in 2023, 2022, I knew I was like 2026 is the year. It wasn't even like this right now. But I've always wanted to move overseas. I've been saying that since 2018, somewhere around there. I've always wanted to move. But I wanted to wait until my daughter finished her studies and then I was going to go. And I don't care what the people in the heads up say. That's my appointed time. That's called certainty. So in the meantime, I'm preparing myself to do just that. I'm not doing anything out of hurry up and get out or pack one bag and we got to rush out. And I told Spirit, I said, we're not doing that. We're not we're not leaving based on midnight hour and I got to hurry up and get out of here. Do you know how frazzled my nervous system is going to be? No, we're going to do things with peace in mind. That's not how I do life. I'm not doing life like that. I'm going to pack accordingly. I'm going to find the place that I want. It's going to be in the best space. It's going to be the cutest little feminine little cute apartment. And I'm going to be next to cafes and restaurants and I'm going to do life. And it's going to be amazing. I'm not finna whip around in the middle of the night and rush to the airport and run through the. Are you kidding me? With the clothes on my back, we had to hurry up and get out of here. No, we're gonna do things calm, decent, and in order, and it's gonna be okay. And everything is gonna work out. And I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna do my eat, pray, love journey, island hop, because that's what I'm gonna do before I settle down in Lisbon. Because I gotta go see Costa Rica. I need to go see Spain. I need to go see China. I have a couple other places. I need to see Ghana. I need to see South Africa. I need to see all these places before I settle down in Lisbon. I'm gonna go to Lisbon a couple of times, but what I'm trying to tell you is that I have a whole roster, a whole agenda, a whole list. So what are you talking about? Anyway, anywho, we know that observation, like I said, collapses possibilities into a single outcome, and then energy states respond to interference and interaction. Energy states respond to interference and interaction. Let me go down to psychology because we're going to put that together. When we talk about emotional states, which are energy states in so many ways, right? The emotion that you carry dominantly turns into a state of being, right? And this is how you are. This is how your personality is, right? So psychology teaches us that identity determines behavior. Your being and behavior match. Behavior shapes decisions. Decisions shape your outcomes, and emotional states influence perception and performance. So when we put everything together, your emotional baseline determines what you can perceive. So if your nervous system is dysregulated, you will always see fewer options or scarce options. You will never see the best for yourself. If I have a dysregulated nervous system, I'm never going to see the best. I'm never going to see the best options. I'm going to look at the best options as it will be nice. It would be cool. Oh, if I could. I really should. I need to manifest that. I wish I could do that because your nervous system is dysregulated. Oh, I really would like Mm-mm. When you feel safe, when you feel regulated, when you feel grounded, your brain recognizes more possibilities and they will be higher than the lack that you can see. It will be higher, and you will actually start to subtract lack options or lower vibe options away from your realm of decisions or choices, if you will. So, when you feel safe, when you feel regulated, and when you feel grounded to yourself, your brain recognizes more possibilities. So, this mirrors quantum probability. Your state determines what becomes available to you. Did y'all hear that? The reason why you keep going back and forth on yourself and saying yes today and then no tomorrow and then I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to invest in this and then I don't know, I'm going to change my mind. Let me see how my money looking. This is what I see, but I really want to do it. And then the time comes, it's like, I don't know yet. I don't know. And we'll see because you don't feel safe to yourself. You don't feel regulated and you don't feel grounded and you don't see the possibilities for yourself. Identity filters your reality. So you tend to only take actions that match who you believe you are, not what you say you are, who you believe you are. Identity dictates which probabilities you collapse into outcomes. People who identify as being capable of doing something create different paths than those who identify as stuck. Because when you're stuck, you don't move. You don't do anything. You stay in a space of consumption and you never create anything. You never take initiative. You never put your full foot forward. You wait on something to happen instead of creating things so that it can happen. So thoughts choose direction. Your emotions provide momentum. So my thoughts are almost like instruction. It's almost like telling the atmosphere what you actually want, but your emotion is the fuel. And your identity is the state of giving permission. That's why they say you can't manifest what you want. You will manifest who you are. That's the truth. So basically it your thoughts equal instruction. You can tell the atmosphere of the universe or God what you want, but your emotions are going to be the ones that's going to bring it in. But if you don't have the identity, it's not going to come. And if it does come, it's because you match the identity of that time. You just didn't stay that way. That's an amen by itself. And I don't care what you say. I really don't care what you think. I'll say amen for you. You ain't even got to say nothing. You don't have to say a word. Ooh, it got here, but it didn't stay because you changed. See, you were big and bold when you got it, but then you had to understand the management. You had to step into sustainability. Here you go. Oof. You had to step into responsibility. You remember how I told y'all the women don't like to be responsible? We don't like to be responsible for things. We don't like to be responsible. We want to hand that off. Mm-mm. This is too much. I don't know if I can handle all these clients. I don't know if I can manage all this money. I don't know if I can create all this da 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 da. You get one client and you don't go and get any more. Like you don't know how to scale, right? You don't know how to expand that. So it's just easy to have this one client and you get this little money and you don't scale out. I got this one client coach. Okay, go get another one. I mean, I'm fine with this one. Do you have a business or are you just making extra money? Because that's what you're doing. That's not a business. Just because you have one client does not mean anything. Congratulations. Go get another one. You have a business. You have to scale. You have to create. You have to expand. That's not going to get the job done. But I can only do this. Go back to identity. Go back to identity. Go back to identity. And go back to I'm going to only do what I feel like I'm capable of doing. And instead of focusing on increasing my capabilities and capacity. If I'm only focusing on, if I'm always focused on being comfortable and not capacity, I'm missing the whole point. That's why I said, like, do you want to make extra money or do you want to be a business owner? Because a business owner is no matter what. Mm, let me get out of your business. Because, see, you taking too much time trying to get comfortable in lack. And you trying to, and I, like I told you, goes back to the beginning what I said. A lot of y'all are so interested in proving that you have a good heart instead of doing good work. You can't get on billionaires and you can't get on these multimillionaires that's scamming people and all this kind of stuff, and you're not doing the work. Like that's what I told people. Don't get mad at the scammers. Get mad at yourself for not doing things the right way and showing the good work so that you can outprice them. Because it don't mean the hell of beans if you have a good heart and you're keeping it to yourself. You trying to prove that you're a good person instead of doing good work to show what a good person looks like. But I'm comfortable. No, you're being a coward. I don't care what you think. I don't care how triggered you are by that. I don't care. It's ridiculous. I told you, the kind people do not want to make money. They're only interested in proving their kindness and proving that they're nice. Nobody cares about that. I could care how sweet you are. I really couldn't care. I could care less, actually. I don't care how many people you fed and how many people. This is why a lot of people stay at the bottom. How many people want to do all this poverty work? Well, you know people need money. When you know people need sustainability, they need money to take care of themselves. The most religious people in the world are poor. This is why, and I'm going to talk about anybody in here, if you take offense to what I'm saying, I love you anyway. But a lot of people that use Jesus as a product, you're using Christian as a product to draw people into your business because you know Christians are going to be vulnerable and spend money. That's religious discrimination all in itself. Because you're not proving to anybody that you're a good person by just attracting Christians to you. Where's your kindness? Jesus went that I wish I would actually study the man instead of owning the label. Here's what I told people, and I'm gonna get on black women too. Black women, I'm coming for you. To say I'm only working with black people, you cutting off your blessing right there. Well, it's just it's so much da 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 da. I'm gonna tell you why you jacking yourself up. I know you care about your community. Blah blah blah. Blah, blah. I know you care about your community. Whatever. But do you care about your business to the point where you expand because you see God in everybody? That's why I told people, what are you doing? If I only told people like I only serve black women, I would be out of business. And I'm not sugarcoating what I just said. Do I love being a black woman? Absolutely. Be a black woman. I'll be a black woman over and over and over again. Love it. I love it. But, but, when it comes down to business, I am open for business. Period. You are cutting off your ability to show the heart because it comes with an experience. Everybody with me? Is this making sense? You cutting off your own blessing because you want people to see in your community that we gotta get it. No, 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 no. Because if we was supposed to get it, we would have got it. We ain't got it. And if you look at see if y'all did your research and look at studies and look how people are walking and how people are shifting, you'll see that our community got a lot of work to do internally. We don't even like picking trash off the curb. So miss me. Jay, that's not right. Do you want to be right or do you want to be wealthy? I didn't say you have to code switch. I don't code switch. I've had people to tell me, well, you probably have to, you know, change the way you talk. And I said, I'm not changing myself. I'm not changing me. I'm not changing. And now that's when you get into a whole nother conversation. I'm not changing who I am. That's one thing about me. I've always been the same. If you go all the way back to 2018, ain't nothing changed because I'm still talking the same way that I did back then. I didn't get into business to stiffen up. I got into business to be who I am at scale. So people will have to conform to me. It don't take away my intelligence because I speak a little slang or I have a southern dialect or I have a southern drawl. It's the fact of the matter, I stay J. And I don't change for that. See, the identity is knowing who I am and consistently allowing myself the freedom to open up the doors and my gift make room for me and people find me and they are connected to me and want to know more about me. And then trusting that people that listen to me will refer or they'll send the link or they'll share my information or they'll share this and share that with other people. That's how you grow. This is how you allow growth, right? So it really comes with you owning who you are. It's not about like quantum manifestation, it's not about thinking things into existence. It's shifting your state so you can choose and act on higher probability outcomes. Who I am today is someone who is ambitious, who roots themselves in certainty and knows that I'm a powerful manifester. Emotional management makes your identity coherent. So when your emotions match your vision, you're congruent to that. Congruence collapses indecision. When people struggle with indecision, everybody got quiet on me when I talked about community stuff. So I see y'all. everybody done got quiet because I don't know if you mad or you rethinking everything. Well, why you say that? I said what I said. Just like Christians. You cut yourself off. It's just that you wanna stay in your little bubble. You wanna stay in your little bubble. You wanna stay in your little bubble. A lot of people that did all this stuff, they ain't in business right now. A lot of them are not in business. You do things right. You have integrity. That's what makes you different. Oof, I could preach that down. You have integrity. And the integrity first starts with yourself. So when you are in undecided all the time and you riding the fence and you warm, you're not hot or cold, you warm, and you just wanna, I just wanna ride the great scale area, nothing gets accomplished because you're not sure of who you are. You one way today and you change tomorrow. You one way this way and then you change in 2 hours. You're never consistent about who you say you are. You either in or you out. And for you to show up doing content only when you feel comfortable, only when you have a conversation with somebody, or only when you get motivated, or only when you say, "Oh, I feel better now. I feel better. I can show up now." Or, "Oh, I got some news today. I got to get my business started." Or, why would you want to keep doing your nervous system like that? Why can't you be consistent? Why can't you just own that? Because you're riding the fence. There's so much, coach. Like, it's just so much. What is so much? You knew that when you got started. But you listened to people that told you it was going to be easy because they didn't tell you the truth. They didn't prepare you for these times. I see one of the things about me, I prepare my clients for these times. If they didn't listen, they ain't listen. But most of them are still in business because they listen. Like, they're still in business. Some of them are doing better than they were when the economy was quote unquote great. Because I prepared them for this. I said, you're gonna have to be a business owner not only when PPP is out or when people are getting their stimulus checks. You're gonna have to be a business owner after the fact. And you're gonna have to decide if you're gonna ride the wave all the way to destiny or you're gonna stop when the going gets tough. And the tough is coming. It's coming. Economies go up and down, shift up and down all the time here in the West. It always shifts. It always changes. But that's the whole point, is to keep you on a roller coaster of emotions. So what am I trying to tell you? What am I trying to get to? I'm trying to get you to understand that you need to get out of places, out of platforms, out of spaces that dysregulate your emotion, because your emotions are they're your pulse checks. It's either bringing you into an awareness or you're gonna make decisions based on that. So if you feel bad, if you feel lack, if you feel off, if you feel like you don't want to sell, if you don't want to market, if you don't want to get up and do anything for your business, that is your indication, your pulse check, to check in and become aware and say, what am I doing? Why am I feeling like this? You remember I told you, go back to the beginning, the root cause. What am I doing and why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like selling today? Why do I feel like posting today? But I'm consuming all this information for what? when I know what it's doing to me. It's a synthetic ethereal manifestation. It's the synthetic ethereal map of what they want me to feel. There's a reason why I keep seeing this type of content. I keep seeing this type of content because they're trying to wire me for a future that I don't want. And I know this, but I keep what? Consuming. Now, we're going to get into, like I said, the addictions and, I'm addicted to this. And it's like, oh, it was, and see, this is the thing, it's up and down. So you see two or three TikToks, right? You see two or three TikToks that are doom and gloom, and then they pick you up with a funny one. And then another one is kind of serious. And then it's like another TikTok where, I'm being giving an example. It could be YouTube shorts. And they're doing another doom and gloom. And then doom and gloom again. And then they pick you up and then three or four more doom and glooms. So the algorithm is mapping you out to a doom and gloom situation. So your thought process is always going to be lower ends of probabilities. It's going to be the lower parts of the probabilities. It's the possibilities that's going to be on the lower and lack end rather than higher possibilities that guides you closer and closer to your ideal. So if I keep listening to people that keep my emotions dysregulated, where I'm up and down all the time, there's no constancy, then my identity will always be in the grayscale because I'm too wishy washy. So I'm rooting myself in uncertainty rather than certainty because my behavior is not changing, right? My identity, my behavior is not changing. My outcomes are not altering. Make sense? Subset, y'all there? YouTube, y'all there? Give me some hearts if you're still here, if you're still tapped in. I need you to understand a couple of things. First, you got to get clear on the outcomes that you want. That's the first thing. It's a reverse engineer piece. Then you walk it back. If I have outcomes, the outcome that I want is going to take a different version of myself. And usually what we want is outside of our comfort zone. It is. But then guess what? I have to shift my behavior. So it's walking backwards, right? And some people will say, well, I thought you have to shift your identity. Yes, you do, but you won't know until you start understanding the behavior and then you start acquiring the identity. You get the identity down as you're doing it because it takes a different person to become that, right? So when you start doing the behaviors, case in point, case in point, it's the same formula. If I say this is what I want to do, I want to make $100,000 in 6 months. Okay. In 6 months, I want to make 100K. I'm giving an example. I learned skills to do that first. And depending on how drastic I want to change my life, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to find the evidence that that is possible, right? So I told y'all when I got into a coaching program, this was 2020, right? And I remember like listening to my, coaching and listen to other coaches in the program and listen to people, and people were making, 30K days, and I had never seen it before in my life. Like I was like, what in the heck is going on in here? 15K days, 11K in an hour and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what? Like what is people doing? And so I was not getting the direct answer. And people were saying, "Well, it's, this." And I said, "Mm-mm, that's not good enough for me." So I did what I knew, right? Because my focus was getting to the outcome. Here we go. But I knew it was going to take a different behavior set, and it was going to have me to have the audacity, which is basically tied to identity, right? You just got to be audacious. You're an audacious person. But I had to figure it out. Because why is this happening? How are people doing this? So I went into DMs of people that were doing this work. And I think it was like 6 people I sent out a DM to. And I said, can you just tell me what you do? Like on a day to day basis, what do you do? Out of maybe the 5 or 6 people, I only had 3 people that emailed me back. One person did not give me the answer that I really wanted because it was like kind of still vague. But the 2 that did, that was all I needed. One girl told me, "This is what I did, Jay. I'm not gonna lie to you." And she was just really straight up. The other one told me, "I do this all day." Like, all day. And so, all I said, and it was so funny because I still think about this, like, sometimes to this day, and I said, "Bet. That's all I need." Like, "Cool. Thank you." So, basically, what they told me was what most people would not be willing to do. And I did exactly what they did. I went ham. I went absolute ham. Made like I think it was like my first big month. I think I made like 30 some thousand in like that same month. And then I made like 100K in 2 months after that. But it took me 5 months, took me 4.5 because I had some sales, but it wasn't enough. And I was like, what are people doing? Like, how are y'all getting this? Because when you run out of warm leads, you gotta go get cold now. And that's what happened to me. I had hit a brick wall because I had ran out all my warm leads. And I was like, okay, well, how do I go and get these cold people? Because I don't know what to do after this. Because I think I had made like 18,000 or 20,000, and it took me about a good month and a half to do that. And I really didn't understand what I was doing. And this was in sales. This was not cash received, right? And it doesn't really matter because cash received and sales, same thing, just about. Because I hate when people do that. Like, you ever want to take me off, like, ask, is it cash received or sales? I'm going to look at you in your face and say, does it matter? And what you going to do with the information? Because a sale is a sale. And coaching, in the coaching industry, we're the only people that do that. Like, they don't do the real estate industry like that. They don't do anything like that except for coaches. And I think it's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it's the silliest thing because people are petty. Because it's a low barrier entry in coaching, right? It's the it's so ridiculous. Because people need to find a differentiator and a divider, right? Because how are you making 48K and you only receive $10,000? What are you, my accountant now? Are you in my books? A sale is a sale. You just mad. Anyway, moving on. So when I found this information, I said, bet, cool. Then guess what I had to do? I had to become courageous. I had to become courageous. which means that I had to do it without hard evidence for myself. But I found evidence outside of myself. Courage is to do the brave thing without you having the evidence that it's going to happen for you. You don't know if you're going to win. You're taking a gamble and a risk. You don't know if it's going to work. You're just hoping and praying that the work you put in is going to come out the way you want it because you've exhausted everything else. Somebody, please. You don't know if it's going to work. So when I get to the place, because courage means that it's going to work, I got to make it work, right? And once you make it work, you then have the confidence that it worked. That's confidence. Then confidence, you have evidence. The only reason why people have confidence to show up these days is because they have evidence to keep going. They have evidence. A lot of y'all stop because you don't have evidence. You don't have evidence that it can work right now. You only tied your evidence to when things seem easy and not when things seem difficult. Or you're still riding on courage. But you got to get evidence. And it takes courage to get that. I'm finishing up. We're almost done. Then I'm leaving you alone for the rest of the week. You have to expand your probabilities. And that's what you're not doing. You're keeping your probabilities super low based on who you say you are. I don't care what you show on social media. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care how pretty you are in your pictures. I don't care what you post and all this kind of stuff. It's your audacity. Some of y'all scared to post because you don't want to offend people. What? Well, I don't want to cause. Okay, got you. But you're here on my live being quote unquote inspired. Inspired to do what? You're not going to do anything with the information I'm giving you. What are you going to do? Continue to be inspired, or you're going to do something with it? Because inspiration is supposed to make you get up and do something. Motivation is temporary. Inspiration is lasting. So I'm closing. As I say, you're going to have to make up your mind if you are going to step into who you are and change your behavior, change your approach, because your outcomes are fine. Like the vision that you have is great, but your behaviors and your skills, your emotions, all of that is off. That's what's messing you up. What's happening is in the middle. Who you are today versus the outcome that you want are two different people. It's the middle that's messing you up. The alpha and the omega of yourself is not the problem. It's the journey within that's jacking you up. I'll see y'all next Monday. Have a great Thanksgiving.